One thing I've introduced, actually look to see NHS England does the same. This is the first time both the Chair's report and the Chief Exec's report is in the public section, which I'd like to maintain. So you've got a very short written report from me as my sort of first update as the Chair. Just to speak to it very briefly, I'm trying really hard to spend the vast majority of my time out and about across the country, meeting people at all levels, in all functions, across a wide variety of trusts, and wherever possible as I travel around also to spend time in the NHS Improvement regional offices as I go around. That's my number one priority, to climb the vertical learning curve and keep meeting and learning, and I have to say I think it's extraordinary. Everywhere I go, no matter how well a trust may be performing on quality or financial metrics, every trust shows me something that's brilliant. Absolutely everything. Everyone, and of course they're wanting to show what they're most proud of, but it's really exciting to see what's brilliant. It is a bit depressing to also see that it's not being shared as much across the system as you would like it to be. So you see the opportunity to drive improvement across the whole system based on the fact that you find brilliance literally everywhere. So that would be first obvious first impression. I'm also trying to reach out across the sector, so both within the NHS and also political divides. So I've spent quite a lot of time starting to reach out within Westminster, meeting people from across the different political parties, and starting to make contact with the various chairs of the different royal colleges as well. And I've got meetings set up with Unison, and they're going to organise for me some listening groups with porters and cleaners so that I can properly hear the voices at every level in the NHS. So that's been my number one priority. Number two priority has been to appoint a chief executive, which obviously has been updated since the board report, and I'm sure everyone will join me in welcoming him when he starts with us next week.
Yeah.
And then the third thing I just wanted to sort of briefly put on the record as well, which is I came to this role very clear that the way to drive change for the good of patients across the country is through working collaboratively across the system. And that one of the things that I would want to do is work out how to work ever more collaboratively with the other arm's length bodies, particularly with NHS England. So I've spent quite a bit of time in the last month meeting with people in NHS England, with Malcolm Grant, with Simon Stevens and their team, starting to explore what we might do there. And I think NHS England's board paper this morning actually calls it out as well. We've agreed together that we should do a proper piece of work over the course of the next few months to really properly establish what we should do only once, what we should govern together, and what we should actually do separately, and really be clear about that, and then design the organisation to deliver that, both in terms of structures, processes, governance, ways of working and culture, with a view that we can give the system as a whole clarity and simplicity, but also our own people within NHS Improvement. So I was pleased to see that alignment in the NHS England board paper that they are probably discussing as we speak. And I would hope that that will take up a bit of time in future board meetings over the next few months so that we can really sort of give the system some clarity of how we want to operate. Any questions, comments? Ara?
I'll add one thing, Chair, and that is it's not just what we will work together, and I think that's fantastic, but usually these things fall apart because of lack of communication as well. It's not uncommon, you might be thinking the same, but some announcement is made and no one knows about it in either party, which is quite worthwhile investing in the time.
Yes.
It's not just ticking the box exercise.
Yes, I completely agree with you, and I think so. I had dinner with Malcolm Grant this week. He and I are trying to meet literally every couple of weeks. We will reinstitute sort of four-way meetings between Ian and I, Simon and Malcolm. And I think as we work through how we want to work better together, we will want to have some joint board sessions. And as you said, it put in place a more structured process of ongoing communication at multiple levels. I genuinely think there is no lack of intent on both sides to make this work better, and from the initial feedback I've had from trusts on the ground, they would absolutely welcome us being, 1 + 1 equaling 20 rather than 1 + 1 equaling less than 2. So good.
Well, it's a sort of related point. One of the things that I've been picking up going around visiting provider trusts, and you, I'm sure, pick up the same thing, is that there's a great deal of frustration with the lack of coordination between us and NHSE, but also CCGs and other similar bodies when it comes to information requests and so on. So on that agenda of work together, I'm hoping that that will be included, that will also go beyond NHSE itself and also their other bodies.
Yes, I agree. Kath?
Just, I think that's absolutely welcomed and wonderful that NHSE are in the sort of same place publicly as well. I think that's really helpful. I think what we do need to think about, though, and I know that we will be thinking about this as we go along, is that we'll effectively, if we're going to do some changes, building the aeroplane in flight is always something to think about, because it's hard work for staff to be doing the job and to be thinking about any changes in alignments and so on. So to make sure we actually focus on that and give people space, but also keep the momentum moving forward quickly.
I think you're right, and I think we will need to ring-fence a small team of people to do this work properly.
Exactly.
And it will be time well invested to ring-fence some resource to do the thinking, so that we can go into sort of the next financial year with a better functioning, sort of coordinated approach.
Yeah.
I like it, building the plane in flight.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yes, it's a great analogy. Any other comments, questions on my report? Nothing?